Hey guys, so this is gonna be a video that I'm gonna be very angry at. So, I've done a couple responses to PragerU. They're very biased. You all probably know that if you've seen my other videos. They've done some good videos, mostly the guest videos are good. Sometimes even Dennis Prager does a reasonable video or two. But at this point, this is like a video that's more personal to me, and like I just cannot handle it anymore. They get so many things wrong, and this is kind of like the result. It's now the SJWs, the transgenders, versus the far right who has no idea what transgenderism is, and they're fighting each other and going back and forth, and they're perpetuating these myths. So let's just get into the video.
It's now okay for a man to hit a woman. That, in effect, is what a mixed martial arts league decided when it allowed Fallon Fox, a biological male, to fight as a woman simply because he identifies as one.
Okay, so right off the bat, they're misrepresenting what happened there. And it's now okay for a man to hit a woman. Feminist much?
And the consequence of this decision? Fox sent female fighter Tamika Brents to the hospital with a broken skull and a concussion. Brents needed 7 surgical staples to bind her wounds. The battered woman, a trained fighter herself, said of her match with Fox, "I've never felt so overpowered in my life."
So let's analyze that and what actually happened. The woman who Fallon Fox was fighting with was not battered. This was not a case of domestic violence, okay? This was a case of 2 people who got into the ring, and one of them was unfairly matched. Now, I will admit that Fallon Fox should not have been in that ring. I do think it was improper for her to fight. She was a transgender woman who had only been on hormones for like a year, and I think she had had a lot of experience fighting in the male ring, and even though estrogen does decrease muscle mass, it doesn't really affect bone structure as much. There should have been some sort of a stricter vetting process to determine if Fallon Fox, if she could fight fairly with biological women. I do admit that matching was unfair, but it was not. Like, she's making it out to be like it's a domestic violence case or something. Like, seriously.
20 years ago, if a man hit a woman so hard that he sent her to the hospital, he'd be in prison.
Yeah, because that would be a domestic violence case. If that still happened today in a domestic violence case, he'd still go to prison. Like, remember what happened with the NFL stuff with the, I think his name was, what was his name? The Rice guy? Ray Rice, I think. The guy who hit his girlfriend in the elevator, who really punched her. That just happened like a couple of years ago. Are you delusional? 20 years ago it wouldn't have happened.
Now, he can get paid for it.
Now he can get paid for it. Kill me.
Today we are told that male and female are one and the same.
No, we're not. No, we're not. We're told that some people can transition. And yes, there are plenty of crazy transgenders who are trying to mix things up. That's not the same thing as trans people.
This denial of male-female differences has led to the astonishing belief that men and women are not born male or female. They are whatever gender they say they are.
That is not what transgenderism is. And yes, that they are whatever gender they say they are is what SJWs are trying to say. But you are arguing like that's a general sweeping societal thing. And that is what transgenders are trying to impose, and that is the exact harm that I think a lot of transgenders are imposing, that they're now making these people think like this. But that is not what trans people are arguing. Jesus Christ.
Facebook went so far as to offer its users over 50 genders to choose from. Know what a Demi-boy is? Me neither.
Oh my god, Facebook. Now, I do agree that Facebook thing is completely idiotic. And, you know, I always laugh at that kind of stuff. But she's acting like it's a serious issue.
The idea that gender identification is now a personal choice might sound enlightened to some, but it's actually a very anti-scientific view of one of the essential facts of life.
I agree. Personal gender identification is not rooted in science. However, gender being something in the brain that occasionally gets mismatched is something rooted in science. Transgenderism is a medical and scientific concept. People have been transitioning for a very, very long time, and that is something that these people are denying. They're denying that Fallon Fox was actually transitioning, that she actually was a transgender woman. Instead, they're like, oh no, Fallon Fox was a biological male.
Men and women are inherently different. Their brains are different.
Right off the bat, their brains are different. Need I say anything?
Their hormones are different, their chromosomes are different, and of course, their bodies are different.
Of course, we know that. We know that.
No amount of peer-reviewed papers from gender studies departments can change this. But that won't stop the progressive elites who run our universities, news media, many of our biggest companies, and even our high schools and elementary schools from trying.
Oh my god, the progressive elites are going to take over the world. And notice how she didn't mention the government? Why? See, this is with the persecution complex that I've mentioned in a couple of my other videos. A lot of people on the left, of course, not all, think they're persecuted because the government is largely, right now, run by Republicans. They're like, oh my god, I'm persecuted! And a lot of people on the right think they're persecuted because, you know, the news media is mostly controlled by the left. And, you know, universities are mostly controlled by the left and all that. You're not persecuted, okay? You know if you're persecuted, so shut up. Don't literally shut up. Obviously, I want you to have your freedom of speech. But you know what I mean.
For their efforts, women will pay an especially high price.
Oh my god. The poor women's. Seriously, like in these PragerU videos and in Rebel Media videos, I've noticed they've been freaking out about women a lot. Why not just say you're a feminist already? Seriously. Have I missed something? Has the horseshoe come full circle? What is going on?
That's because the men and women are the same argument invariably leads women to be judged against a male standard. Or to put it another way, to be more of a woman has to be more like a man. She has to want to have casual sex like a man, to serve in combat like a man, to pursue a career with single-minded intensity like a man.
Women have to go into careers. They can't stay in the kitchen anymore. How horrible. Oh my god. They have to have casual sex. How horrible. Seriously, these people are just afraid of traditional gender roles being broken. Obviously, I don't think they should be broken just for the sake of being broken. But if a woman wants to have a single-minded career or whatever, she should be allowed to do so. What's wrong with that?
Of course, there are exceptions, but the overwhelming majority of women aren't seeking casual sex, don't have the physical strength of men, and don't share the same work-life priorities as men.
And that is true. No one is forcing them to do any of that. That's not even what the transgenders are really arguing. I mean, a lot of SJWs are like, women should be stronger and they should do all this stuff. But that's not even what the whole transgender argument is. I'm so lost here. And they're saying like this is going to be harmful to women, that they're going to have to break gender roles. They literally just want women to stay in the kitchen. Even though women have been joining the workforce and going to the military and having casual sex, which they somehow think is a problem, that what people do in their personal lives is a problem. Like, who cares?
Ironically, this quest for sameness is occurring at a time when science is telling us more emphatically than ever that we are different. So what your grandmother took for granted, men and women are different, science now confirms.
What your grandmother took for granted? What are they even talking about at this point? That, for some reason, reminds me of, I forget which movie it was a Marx Brothers movie, but it was a Groucho Marx joke. Your grandmother might have thought that marriage was between one man and one woman, but then again, who wants to marry your grandmother?
But there is no room for science in, say, stores like Target or Toys R Us, where toys are no longer divided into the boys section and the girls section, or in a North Carolina school district where students can no longer be called boys and girls, but only students, or in college dorms where co-ed bathrooms and even co-ed bedrooms are increasingly common.
So, some of those things are dumb, like not having a boys section or girls section. I mean, I don't really care. Or just having to call people students. Like, yeah, that's kind of dumb. But gender-neutral bathrooms and gender-neutral dorms, that's fine. Like, I don't really care. Why are you bitching about that?
For the tiny percentage of people who experience gender dysphoria, we should have nothing but compassion. We should do everything we can to help them and protect their dignity.
Nothing but compassion. Yet you just basically compared Fallon Fox, who has gender dysphoria, to a domestic abuser. You idiot. You hypocrite.
But we don't need to overturn biologically defined sex differences to do so. But that's what's happening. Using the wrong pronoun at the office might get you fired. In Canada, it might land you in court. In mixed martial arts, as we have seen, it can lead to getting your head bashed in. Apparently, this is a small price to pay in a world where we must all genuflect to political correctness.
Okay, yeah, and I disagree with all of that. I disagree with mismatching people in mixed martial arts. I mean, I think transgender people should be able to compete in sports of the sex they're transitioning to, as long as, you know, they meet the requirements and it can match up right. But in cases like Fallon Fox, it was mismatched. I don't think that was correct. And there are cases where it's the other way around, like that one transgender boy who was put in a girls section, but he outperformed all the girls. What do you think about that? Or, you know, yeah, cases like the pronouns, obviously that shouldn't be there. Like, I agree, that's all wrong. So, again, what is your point with that? I agree that's all, like, mostly with SJW kind of policies. Or with the Fallon Fox case, that might have just been an oversight.
Even after being hospitalized, Tamika Brents knew she had to toe the PC line.
She keeps referring back to the woman who got hospitalized. And I do feel sorry for the woman who got hospitalized, but again, that wasn't really anybody's fault. Nobody knew that was a general oversight. Like, yeah, obviously somebody should have checked that Fallon Fox, you know, whether she was too strong to compete with biological women. But she keeps obsessing over this one woman for some reason. Like, it's not like Fallon Fox came in like, I'm gonna punch this woman. Obviously not.
When asked how she explained why she lost so badly to a man who said he was a woman, she said, I can't answer whether it's because she was born a man or not, because I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, so this woman was saying, I don't know why I lost in the fight. So how does that prove your point?
Vice magazine, writing about the incident, had no sympathy for Brents. Why should they? As they wrote, biological sex isn't black and white.
So that was just a random way to bash Vice. I mean, I don't like Vice either, but why do you just have to randomly bash Vice?
But in virtually every instance, it is. The longer we allow the obvious to go unstated and undefended, the worse it will be, for boys and girls, and for men and women, but especially for women.
I gotta be a feminist again.
The sexes are different. Rather than trying to quash this reality, which can only lead to more needless confusion and suffering, not less, we should step back and marvel at it, and enjoy it. Male-female differences are among the most wonderful things in life.
Okay, so that was that video. I got really infuriated, so sorry if I didn't make great points. But yeah, I think this is the kind of stuff. You have the crazy SJW stuff, and that is why this is hurting people, because then it feels this misunderstanding of transgender people and their motives, and it just feeds each other in this cycle, and it's really, really frustrating. It is. It just frustrates me, and I've just had it with PragerU at this point. Like, now they're spreading legitimate misconceptions about transgender people, and they claim to have sympathy for actual trans people, but you could tell they didn't. The way they spread misconceptions about trans people. It's just frustrating. They're clearly trying to pander to, you know, their audience. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.
Feel the funk blast!